First of all, it doesn't matter really what the government says. You've not been called as a parent by the government.
Right.
And the government doesn't own your kids. Your kids aren't property of the state. God has made you parents and has given your kids to steward their lives and hearts and minds. And he's called you to train them.
So let's do a quick recap of this past year. 2022 has been full of, ups and downs for our family, as not just for our family, as it has been, I think, for everybody.
Yeah.
But the beginning of the year started out really, we had just come off of releasing the movie in November of 21.
Right.
And so when 22 hit, we were just in the midst of this crazy movie release, and it was insane. We were doing all kinds of radio interviews and podcast interviews, and those went on for months and months. And it was a lot of fun. And then the movie came out on DVD in February, and that was exciting. Like, I remember that day. Oh, we did it. We did a video, big,
we got our box.
Grand reveal, of our box that came. And it was so fun when that got delivered and we got to open it. And I think we did that live, right, on Facebook.
I think we did. And the girls were a part of it.
Right. Yeah. So that was really exciting. And then was it June? I think it was already by June that we did the second run.
Yeah. So we got notification, I think at the end of May, that they were just about out of the first run.
Right.
Which was really
of
good.
DVDs.
Right. They had sold out of the first batch of DVDs. And it was great timing because we then had Spanish subtitles we got to add to the new DVD. So in June, I think it was, they printed the second run of DVDs with Spanish subtitles.
Right.
And we praise God for that it's out there and people are seeing it and it's making an impact for the kingdom.
Yeah.
And that was really the point. We didn't make this film to just build up homeschoolers and say, rah, 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 you go. We really did this to call parents to something super important.
Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure to see God work through that. And we get the blessing of hearing feedback and hearing how God's using it. And sometimes, man, it's the thing we need that day. And it's really the wind in our sails.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been really fun. I'm just going through this process and people ask us all the time, how's the movie going? And it's fun. We're, our really good friend, Claire, she did subtitles for German. She translated the whole movie into German subtitles, which was an incredible gift. She literally just gave that to us as a gift. And not just to us, but to those who need to watch the movie in German. And so thank you, Claire, for that. That was a huge, huge sacrifice that she made of her time to literally translate every word of the movie into German because she was so passionate about it. And so the movie, by the way, if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, what is this Schoolhouse Rocked podcast? And what movie are you talking about? The movie is called Schoolhouse Rocked, The Homeschool Revolution. Most of you probably already know that, but it is a feature-length documentary that we made, came out last year. So I can't believe it's been a year already. I mean, that just blows my mind.
Time has flown this year. I was thinking as you were talking about 2022, this has maybe been the most eventful year for us in our marriage.
Yeah, you think?
Either this year or last year. So much has happened.
Yes.
And I know it's been that way for a lot of people. There's been a lot of upheaval, but for us, we've seen a lot of good stuff happen, and it's been really amazing. One of the things about that German translation, by the way, that Claire did, and that's available, by the way, if you go to schoolhouserocked.com and you watch the streaming version of the film, it has German subtitles. Why does German matter?
Yeah, it's illegal to homeschool in Germany.
Yeah. So we're calling parents to something that right now is a crime.
Yeah.
And we've watched as HSLDA has fought for families in Germany as the government has taken kids away simply for parents homeschooling. And so, it may seem a little bit like we're yelling into the wind or just throwing that effort away, but no, we really want to start a revolution. And this is just the early kindling to that fire. We want to let parents know that, first of all, it doesn't matter really what the government says. You've not been called as a parent by the government.
Right.
And the government doesn't own your kids. Your kids aren't property of the state. God has made you parents and has given your kids to steward their lives and hearts and minds. and he's called you to train them up.
Right.
He hasn't called the state to train them up. And so with the movie available in German, we get to tell parents that and encourage them there where it's illegal. But this podcast as well, I get to look at the stats. I get to share the stats with our sponsors.
Yeah.
This podcast is listened to regularly in like 50 countries around the world. And we get to pull podcast charts. Yeah. And we chart in countries around the world, not just the ones you would expect, like the United States and Britain and Canada, where they're majority English-speaking countries. But we are everywhere. And I'm constantly surprised at the reach that this podcast has. And I'm grateful to the Lord to use this tool to build up parents all around the world.
Right.
As we talk about that, listeners, if you have a heart for a nation and you say, man, I really would love to see the movie available in Mandarin or in Japanese or in another language, we have a service that can do subtitles. And right now, with inflation, everything has gotten more expensive. Right now, it's under $1,000 for most languages, but it's pretty close to 1,000. But if you have a heart for a nation, if you have a heart for a people, email us at podcast@schoolhouserocked.com and let's work together to get the movie translated into those languages and get it available. It's very, very easy to put the movie there. It does take that step of money and time to do the translations. So, but we really have a heart to see as many people as we can see this movie and have their hearts moved.
Right. Because it's what it's all about. And if you've seen the movie, you know this. It is all about family discipleship. Yeah. You know, it's about family discipleship through homeschooling, but really it's about discipling the hearts of our kids.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.